Hello everyone and welcome back to today's video. And today we're diving deep into something that affects every single one of us. No, I'm not talking about bad sleep. I'm talking about when we open Facebook, scroll TikTok, or read some forwarded messages in the fam group chat, right? Today we're talking about fake news, but not just fake news as a general idea, because there are actually three very different types. And understanding each one is the first step to fighting back. My name is Kirk Louis C. Espiras, and this is my individual PIT report on the three types of fake news. We are going to go through real examples straight from VERA Files, the Philippines' own fact-checking organization. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot, analyze, and stop each type from spreading. So welcome, sit back tight, and I hope you understand this short lecture. Here's what we will cover today, a short outline. First is our objectives. The objectives are what I want you to walk away knowing. Then we'll look at the the different types of fake news. It's just a quick overview. Then we'll go into each type, that being disinformation. We'll have a demonstration analysis from that, all three of them, and misinformation, malinformation, and we'll wrap it with comparisons or protective strategies and final call to action. How about that, right? So, what are our objectives? Let me set them up for you. By the end of this report, you should be able to identify and define the three types of fake news. Let's do that along the way. The second one being analyzing real-world examples locally, because shout out to the Philippines where I'm from. We're going to use real-world Philippine examples from, again, VERA Files. And then number three would be to demonstrate fact-checking methods that you can use every single day right now. Matter of fact, that we're going to demonstrate how to do these fact-checking methods. Understanding the real-world harm that each type of these fake news causes, because this isn't just some academic, or I'm not just here to do this for the grades, right? Fake news actually causes real life damage to everyone. Lives that were unequipped with the knowledge to find these fake news, they will suffer, and they have suffered, right? So let's all understand the real world harm. And then lastly is to equipped with tools and habits to stop the spread. I want to equip all of you with that. So before we go into the three types of fake news, as a brief, because I'm sure you didn't click on this video without knowing that, but I'll still cover it. Before we get into that, let's establish a short framework. The three types of fake news come from framework developed by UNESCO and First Draft News, specifically Claire Wardle and then Hossein Daraksan in 2017. And it's called the Information Disorder Framework. Now, what is it? The three of these disinformation framework is disinformation. This is false content that is deliberately created and spread with the intent to deceive. The creator knows it's false, but spreads it anyways. Second one being misinformation. That's false content that's accidentally spread or spread without the deliberate intent to harm or mislead in any way whatsoever. The person sharing it often believes it's real. We got to cover that today because that's one of the most common types of fake news. Also have malinformation. This is where it's actually real information, but it's used to cause harm. Now that you know the difference between all three of them, you have to know that all three types, though they are different, they all have one thing in common, is that they all thrive on social media. All three cause real damage as well, but they require different responses. They are similar in such a way because they are types of fake news, but they require different calls to action. And that's why knowing the difference matters in itself. So, disinformation. Let's start with that. Again, a short preview. Disinformation is false content that is deliberately created and shared to deceive people. The killer word here is intent. The creator knows it's false, but share it anyway. Why? I'll give you why. It's because they have something to earn. They have something to gain out of it. What does it look like in practice? Well, these can look like fake websites, real news outlets, but actually fake. We have also deep fakes, manipulated images, false warnings and alerts. Also clickbait designed to look like official information. The motivation can vary, but at the end of the day, can vary for political gain, it can vary for um, ad revenue, it can vary to create panic for people or to damage a reputation, whatnot. But in the end of the day, disinformation is always has a common thread, and that is intent. That's the difference between misinformation and malinformation, is that knowing it's fake, but they have the intent to mislead people. That's disinformation. That's the common bottom line of it. And then today's case, I'll hit you with something that will hit you close to home. And for millions of people like me, Filipinos, fake typhoon alerts during the 2024 storm season. Gotta watch out for that. I'll discuss more about that right about now. So, disinformation, the 2024 typhoon case. What am I talking about here? According to VERA Files, December 21, 2024, false reports on typhoons wreaked havoc in 2024, published December 21, 2024, written by Enrico Berdos and Sabrina Joyce Go, is during the Philippine typhoon season from July to September 2024, a wave of fabricated typhoon alerts flooded social media. It's more like the fake news alerts actually flooded social media more than flooded local towns at this rate. Here are the most damaging ones. One viral TikTok post, TikTok and Facebook falsely claimed in September that a super typhoon would hit the Philippines. It was completely made up, of course, but it gained 1.68 million views and 48,611 reactions before it was actually fact-checked. Can you imagine? And another false claim circulated saying that 25 tropical cyclones would hit the Philippines in 2024. When VERA Files investigated, they found out the list was simply the names pre-assigned to future typhoons, nothing indicating they would all enter the Philippines territory. That's not a forecast. That's just a naming convention. And then there were false typhoon adversaries used purely as clickbait. You'd click the alert thinking it's from Pagasa and end up on an online shopping affiliate page, something like that. This is pure disinformation, designed intentionally, profit motivated, right? Let's break this down analytically, right? Who spread it? VERA Files tracked 24 sources of typhoon-related fake news. Half of those, 12 out of 24, came out from Facebook pages. 5 had Philippine weather or weather update in their name, making them look like legitimate weather services. 3 used Metro headlines. 2 posed as breaking news. Why did it spread? ABS-CBN's resident meteorologist Ariel Rojas explained it very clearly. And he said, anxiety drives sharing. When people are scared about typhoons, they will share anything that looks like weather information, even if it's not from Pag-asa. Quote unquote from him, he said, pag may actual na bagyo, hindi na sila magpe-prepare. meaning once people are desensitized to warnings, they stop preparing for the real ones. UP Diliman's Professor Samuel Cabuag also noted that some content creators deliberately use extreme language, quote unquote, a typhoon bigger than the entire Philippines, because shocking content always goes viral. The harm in this is because it creates what is called disaster fatigue. People see so many fake typhoon warnings that when real warnings come, they don't even want to prepare anymore. That complacency can cost lives. Also, Rojas criticized FB and YouTube for providing no adequate means to report typhoon-related fake news. And an imbalance of this is because too few fact checkers versus too much disinformation. He said it's not evenly matched. Now, the intent behind it is that was not accidental. Okay, let me walk you through the intentionality test. The fake super typhoon posts were crafted to look like real pagasa alerts. They used official sounding language, typhoon names, that's one, and track descriptions. These are not honest mistakes like misinformation, what people would see. These are crafted imitations designed to be believed, designed to mislead. The profit motive is the profit motive is clear. Several false typhoon posts were clickbait that redirected users to shopping affiliate links. That's all this was. That's all that this was. Someone clicked because they were scared, and someone else earned money from that click. The Facebook pages that spread these posts were freshly created, some just weeks old. Can you see a pattern? With no credible track record. They existed for one purpose, and that was to generate viral content, right? Ariel Rojas described his frustrations with the platforms. And instead of being helped by the platform where misleading posts spread, you won't get any help at all. VERA Files published 386 fact checks in 2024, of which 8 specifically debunked typhoon-related disinformation. The checkers are fighting hard, but as Rojas admitted it, there's an imbalance. It's not evenly matched. Too many disinformation, too little fact checkers. Now, how do you spot this fake news? Okay. Always verify typhoon information at pagasa.dost.gov. If it's not there, it's fake. That's one of them. Actually, as a matter of fact, let's go deeper into that, right? So how do you verify um, typhoon information yourself? How do you verify this information yourself? Information as a whole yourself. Here's a step-by-step guide. Step 1, check the source. Again, if it was not from Pag-asa's official Facebook or website, this is in a typhoon content. I'm meaning there's many more content, context rather, but in a typhoon related context, if you check the official website, official Facebook, GMA Philippine Star, if the source is a page called Metro Headlines Cebu that was created last month, that's a red flag. Probably just created just for the sake of misleading. Another step, from step 1 to check the source, and step 2 is to check the date. Another one is the date is because old typhoon images from 2019 storms in Japan or Taiwan are recycled every typhoon season. The image might look terrifying, but it's just from another country, let alone another year. And then step 3, reverse image search. What does this mean? How do we do that? Drag the typhoon image into Google Images. If the same photo appears in news from 2018, boom, you got it. That's a lie. No, the date doesn't match up. The country probably doesn't match up as well. 4th step, check the fact checkers. VERA Files, Rappler Fact Check, ABS-CBN Fact Check. Search these before sharing. 5th step, stop the chain. If you cannot verify it, do not share it. Every time you forward an unverified typhoon alert, you become part of the disinformation network and you contribute to the disaster fatigue that makes people ignore real warnings. Stop the chain. Do not, if you can't verify it, if you don't know if it's really sure, if it's really real, why share it, right? Let's all work together so that what do you call fatigue, disaster fatigue doesn't exist anymore. Now, another one from the three fake news, misinformation. Diving more deep into misinformation, the second type is this. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information spread, but this time compared to disinformation, without that intent. Because in disinformation, the key killer there is intent, right? Misinformation, on the other hand, is just inaccurate spread without deliberate intent to deceive. The person sharing it genuinely believes it's true. That's what makes it different from disinformation. The type often comes from misunderstood science, outdated medical information, um, oversimplification, even, or even like wishful thinking, right? People share health myths because they care about the people they're sharing with. They share fake remedies because they desperately want someone to be cured, right? But good intentions like those don't neutralize harmful content, as sad as it might seem. Misinformation that discourages someone from seeking proper medical treatment can be just as deadly as deliberate lies. This time, my case study is a viral Facebook post claiming that certain foods can kill cancer cells. That's already suspicious enough. A post shared over 70,000 times in the Philippines. Let's dive deeper into that, right? So, FB post makes multiple false claims on food that kills cancer. December 23, 2020, from VERA Files. A Filipino Facebook page called Amazing Zinergia for Natural Health published a lengthy post claiming that cancer is not a disease, that a certain Dr. Gupta said, no one must die of cancer except out of carelessness. That the Maryland College of Medicine proved drinking lemon water for 3 months can will make cancer disappear, and that um Dr. Guru Guru Prasad Reddy BV from Osh State Medical University in Moscow, Russia, provided cancer prevention tips. That post is very lengthy and it includes most of that right there in the screen. And the post was originally published in March 2019, and it was still circulating and gaining traction in December 2020, but it accumulated more than 70,000 shares and 12,000 reactions. Most sharers probably and most likely believe they were helping others. Can you imagine that? 70,000 shares. Most people who shared it were not trying to deceive anyone. They shared it because they believed it. And that is the hallmark of misinformation, right? So why these health misinformation spread so quickly, there's a few reasons as to why. First reason would be desperation factor. Cancer is actually the third leading cause of death in the Philippines, according to DOH. People want natural cures, one probably cheaper and less, a lot more convenient than chemotherapy. Misinformation fills an emotional need. That's why. That's one of them. Another factor would be trust in natural, quote unquote. Posts framed as natural healing are perceived as safer and more authentic than pharmaceutical medicine. That's another one as to why health misinformation spreads so quickly. Another one would be recycled content, right? The Amazing Zinergia post copied word from word from posts circulating since 2018, already debunked by fact checkers in Africa, mind you, India and the US. And Another one is supplement sales. The page also sold dietary supplements. While intent may be mixed, the misinformation created market demand for their products. So it's still in favor of the amazing Zynergia post. And then timing, another factor as to why it spread so quickly is because the post gained renewed traction during COVID-19 when cancer patients were seen as high risk, amplifying fear and demand for cures. So they found a strategy, this post in 2019, right? Now, demonstrating analysis, the misinformation. How do you catch health misinformation in this context? Yeah, health and misinformation before you share it. Step number one, verify the institution. Just as this information, you have to search up, quote, quote, Maryland College of Medicine. Does it exist? A quick Google search shows it does not. Look it up right now. There is a University of Maryland School of Medicine, and it has not published no such research about lemons and cancer. This doesn't exist. Okay. Step number two is to find the doctor. Dr. Guru Prasad Reddy BV from Osh State Medical University, Moscow in Russia. Osh State Medical University is in Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan. Right, not Moscow, and not verifiable. Record exists of this doctor or these tips. Step three, go to medical sources. Cancer.gov, the World Health Organization, the Philippine DOH, the Philippine Society of Medical Oncology. These are credible. These are real sites. These are real websites. A Facebook page selling supplements is not a peer-reviewed source. It's not recommended. And step four being, you gotta ask. Curiosity in this context is very good. Is this too good to be true? A single food item that cures cancer. Genuine medical breakthroughs get published in peer-reviewed journals and announced by hospitals, not in Facebook posts by supplement sellers. If such groundbreaking news like this, curing cancer, should be worldwide, not in some random Facebook page. Last but not least is to consult a doctor. Before changing your cancer treatment or diet based on a Facebook post, please to talk to an oncologist first. Their advice is based on evidence. A Facebook page's advice is based on engagement, right? Clicks and shares. Now, for malinformation, the last but not the least. Now we have come to the third and perhaps most sinister, most evil one. I'd label that myself because malinformation is real information or content based on the truth, mind you, but it's used in a malicious intent to harm a person, a group of friends, an institution, a company, or whatnot. The key element here is it might be partially true, a real person's name, a real organization branding, a real photo, but it is used to weaponize it against them or to harm them. Key element is harm, right? Now, here's what makes it especially tricky because the part of the content is real. People are most likely to believe it. You recognize the name, you recognize the logo, you trust the face, and that trust is what's being exploited. Using a real person's name, branding to spread harmful false narratives. You trust it because, oh wait, I know this company, I know this account. Yeah. Boom. There goes your trust. Classic forms of malinformation include impersonation. Like again, stealing real outlets' visual identity and inserting fabricated content. This time, My case study is one of the most elaborate malinformation scams VERA Files has investigated, and that's a fake ABS-CBN news website. The infamous ABS-CBN that used real Dr. Tony Liachon's identity to sell you an unregistered diabetes product. That's pretty crazy. All right, let's dive deeper. Malinformation, ABS-CBN imposter sites. Again, this is a study by VERA Files published on April 18, 2023. Let's go. Two websites, HLTHshop.club and Philip Pro Shop, copied the exact visual layout of ABS-CBN's news. Same logo, same color, same scheme, same font style. Now, you would think that you were reading the real ABS-CBN news, but these are fake sites published a story claiming that Dr. Tony Liachon, a real respected former COVID-19 task force advisor, gave an interview in which he warned against using metformin-based diabetes drugs and endorsed a product called Glucoactive as a natural anti-diabetic remedy. Now that's already suspicious, but the article even included a patient's testimonial with a photo, but that photo was actually taken from a 2017 South China Morning Post article and showed journalists Daisy Mandap, who is neither a diabetes patient nor 67 years old as described. The fake story first circulated on Facebook on March 5, 2023. Let's break down the tactics used from all that we just witnessed. Real element number one on malinformation, again, it's deliberate. Real content might be twisted a bit, but it's used to harm. And the real element number one is a real doctor. Tony Liachon is a genuine public health figure. He's real. His name carries real credibility from his COVID-19 works. The scammers use his real name, use his real image without his permission to lend authority to a lie. Real element number two, a real media outlet's brand, ABS-CBN News, is one of the most trusted media institutions in the Philippines. The fake sites stole that trust by copying ABS-CBN's visual identity entirely, mind you. Another one, real element number three, is that it was a real photo. The patient testimonial used a real photograph from a journalist, Daisy Mandap, taken from a legitimate published article and paired it with a completely fabricated story. And, sorry, right there. The lie, the interview is that it never happened. Liachon confirmed to VERA Files that it was fabricated. He posted multiple times on his social media, urging the public to only trust his official accounts. The ghost institution. The article used cited a Philippine Diabetes Research Laboratory Incorporation. That institution does not exist. It's a ghost institution. This is the anatomy of malinformation. Real people, right? Real brands, real photos, all weaponized to package a completely fake story. Now, why are we talking about this? What's the harm in it? Harm is more serious than a lot of people may think. It's very real and very serious. There's actually currently no cure for diabetes. Fun fact, confirmed by both the US CDC and the National Institutes of Health. Glucoactive is not registered as a food or drug product with the Philippine FDA. People who stopped their doctor prescribed metformin and took glucoactive instead were putting their entire health in serious danger. Because it's not an actual, God forbid, it's not a real cure, right? And the fake sites is another one of them. Ask visitors to provide personal information and pay for the product. Real people paid real money for an unregistered, unproven product. Think about the damage that that could do, not just to the person's bank account, but to the person's digital footprint and whatnot. Reputational damage. Again, Tony Leachon has been targeted by similar scams repeatedly. In his own words, quote unquote, I have been the subject of many fake news and misinformation. Several media organizations are helping me combat the massive proliferation of these fraudulent marketing ads to deceive the public and take advantage of their lack of awareness. He himself said that he's his name is being targeted, right? And that's a one, reputational damage. And another one is institutional damage. Every time ABS-CBN's brand is hijacked, public trust in the real ABS-CBN weakens. People would probably not trust them as much anymore. Oh no, this is bad. Can I really trust ABS-CBN with posting real information this time? Because people start to doubt, even legitimate ABS-CBN reporting. People will start to doubt that eventually. And last but not least is systematic harm. VERA Files noted that this is not an isolation scam. This format has been used continuously since 2021, simply changing the doctor's name, the product name, and the website domain each time. It is an industrial scale deception operation targeting Filipino health consumers. That's how big this problem is. Now, with all that being said, how do you spot malinformation with all that all this breaking down of the anatomy from misinfo, disinfo to malinfo? How do you spot it? Again, just like misinformation and disinformation, you step one, check the URL all the time. Do this. This is first and most important steps. If it's the real ABS-CBN news, it's news.abscbn.com. If it's a fake, it's probably hlthshop.club. The domain name is your first step. Check the actual browser URL, not just what the page looks like. Another step 2, would be to verify it via person's official accounts. Search up Tony Leachon on Facebook. His real verified page explicitly says he does not endorse any health products. If a story claims someone endorsed something, check if that person confirms it in their own channels. You see Mr. Beast saying a new product that he's cited with has some health, medical, or whatnot. Check his account if he actually posted something about that, right? Third step would be to check product registration. The Philippine FDA has a public verification tool that at verification.fda.gov.ph. Glucoactive is not there. Again, Glucoactive, any health product that isn't FDA registered is either illegal or a scam. Step number 4, check the institution. Philippine Diabetes Research Laboratory, Inc., Incorporation. No public research, no government registration, and no website. A real research institution has a verifiable trail. It exists in real time. And then step number 5 is to report the scam. This is how you go about it. It's not real, doesn't seem real, it's probably not real, report it immediately. If you find scam pages or fake news sites, report them. Facebook, NTC, VERA Files. You might protect the next person from falling victim. Now, what have we learned aside from the basics and how to protect yourself from all of this? Let's put all 3 new fake news side by side. Disinformation. Again, typhoon alerts intentionally false. The creators knew the super typhoon were fabricated. The goal was viral engagement, revenue, and clicks and money. This is deliberate attack on a public safety information. That's disinformation. The cancer food claims, unintentionally false. The people who shared the amazing Zinerja post, for the most part, genuinely believed they were helping friends and family. The harm came from ignorance, misplaced trust, emotional vulnerability, not malice. That's misinformation. Malinformation uses truth maliciously. Real people's identities, real organizations, brandings, photographs, weaponized to package a completely fabricated story and extract money, chiching chichi, from vulnerable patients that just want to be cured from the diabetes. Now, what are the key differences? Again, keyword, all right. Intent, disinformation. It's deliberate. Misinformation, unintentional. That's the key word. For disinformation, it's intent. For misinformation, it's unintentional. And for malinformation, it's malicious. Malicious intent is intentional and has malicious intent. The relationship to the truth is that disinformation is fabricated, misinformation is mistaken, and malinformation is truth but twisted. All three cause real harm. All three demand our vigilance. Now, why exactly are Filipinos particularly vulnerable? Well, let me tell you that. Did you know? The Philippines consistently ranks among the top countries in daily social media use. I'm sure a lot of this, a lot of us already knew that. Filipinos spend an average of more than 3 hours per day on Facebook. That's 3 hours of potential exposure. Emotional. Another one is emotional triggers. All three of our case studies exploited emotions, fear during typhoons, hope for cancer cures, trust in familiar doctors, and whatnot. And another one is low media literacy. This is very important. Many Filipinos and people globally do not check sources before sharing. And I'm glad I got to sit here and talk about you right now. You need to be people who need to be more aware about the actions that they do. They have to be media literate. Another one is lack of platform accountability. Meteorologist Rojas told VERA Files that Facebook provides no adequate tools for reporting typhoon-related fake content. Platforms profit from engagement, and fake news drives engagement. So Facebook, TikTok, they have little accountability to the fake news that's being spread. And another one I hope we can all call to action is that there's too few fact checkers. VERA Files published 386 fact checkers in 2024. That sounds like a lot, I know, but fake content is generated into thousands of times faster than it can be checked. The fight is not even the slightest bit equally matched. Now, again, let's talk about the responsibility of platforms in fake news. Meta's third-party fact-checking program partners with organizations like VERA Files to label false posts. But the label does not remove the post. People can still see it, share it, and believe that. That's why it's important to report the post. The algorithm problem. Ooh, this one's big. Social media algorithms are designed to maximize engagement. And what gets maximum engagement? Well, I'll tell you that content that triggers strong emotions, fear, outrage, hope. Fake news is engineered to do exactly that. If you haven't noticed, they're designed to trigger emotions. And the algorithm rewards it. It gives you more videos the more you react. Accountability shift. Accountability shift. As UP political science professor Jose Mari Lanuza noted, platforms pass the burden of information quality to individual users, to info suppliers and consumers, rather than taking structural blame to themselves. They say, oh, it's not our fault. It's the person's fault who posted it. Now, what should platforms do? Proactive detection of impersonator sites, that's one. Faster removal, reducing algorithm rewards for sensational content, and empowering users reporting tools, making fact-checking labels more prominent. These are not impossible asks. They are choices platforms have not fully committed to, not fully at least. And last, protecting yourself. Here's what personal fake news protection kit 5 habits to build starting today. Number one is to pause before sharing. Don't share the moment you feel a strong emotion. No, that emotional impulse is exactly what fake news is designed to trigger. Take 30 seconds and ask, do I know this is true? Number two is to check the source. Is this info registered news outlet? Is the URL real? Does the author have a real or verifiable identity? Number three is reverse image search. Right click any image and search image with Google. Use TinEye. You'll often find the same photo that was used completely different context years ago. Number four is to consult fact checkers. Again, VERA Files, Rappler Fact Check, ABS-CBN Fact Checkers, AFP Fact Check Philippines. These organizations, all of these, do the hard verification work so you don't have to start from scratch. And number five is to go to official sources. That's a common thing that we should all know. Fact checking sources. You can screenshot or bookmark as you wish. These are the fact checking sources right here. Now, right. Let me step back and talk all about the bigger picture. Why all of this is matter. Why am I even here talking about this in the first place? Beyond individual instances, beyond personal experiences. Again, the health impact, people abandon proven treatments for fake cures. Disaster complacency from fake typhoons warnings can cost lives during real storms. Economic impact. Another one. Scam health products, money equals money. False disaster news, supply chains and markets. Political impact. Another one. Disinformation erodes trust. When we can't agree on basic facts, democratic participation suffers. Psychological impact. Constant exposure to conflicting information. A state where people stop trying to figure out what is real and simply disengage. Community impact. When shared reality breaks down, communities fracture. Uh, whether that's preparing for a typhoon together or following public health guidelines. Boom. No longer applicable. Because fake news is not just a nuisance, it is an attack on the foundations of functioning society. If fake news successfully breaks our society, then we don't know what might happen to all of us individually. Now, the SIFT method, what all you have been waiting for. The last tool I want to give you, the SIFT method for media literacy. This was developed by media educator Mike Caulfield and is now used in schools, universities around the world. SIFT. S, stop. I, investigate the source. F, find better coverage. D, trace claims. Don't share immediately. That's stop. Before you act, don't let your emotional response drive you. Now that you've regained calmness, investigate the source. Who's behind this? What's their track record? Credible journalism or a history of spreading false content? Then you already know. F, can you find this story on a trusted news site? If the only place you can find the story is in a Facebook post or a shady domain, boom, red flag. T, trace claims for images, videos, and quotes. Trace back to the original context. Was this taken out of context? Has the image been cropped to change the meaning? Stop. Investigate, find, and trace. SIFT. Make it a habit for all of you listening. Before I wrap this up, I want to talk about responsibility. because this isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about the kind of society we want to live in. Every share is a choice. When you share a post, you become part of its distribution network. You have moral responsibility for what you amplify, even if you didn't create it. Correcting mistakes takes courage. I know that's hard for all of us, even in real life, away from social media. If you shared something, if you've done something wrong, turned out to be false, then delete it. No need for your ego to say, but this, but that. Yes, it might be embarrassing, but it's the right thing to do. Education over shame. Again, when a family member shares fake news, don't shame them publicly. Approach them respectfully and say, with evidence, compassion changes minds. Shame builds walls. You have to be compassionate, not shameful. Support the fact checkers. More importantly, we have very little fact checkers. Follow VERA Files, Rappler, and other credible organizations. Their work protects all of us, but only if people actually see it. Again, demanding accountability. Tell platforms, governments, and media organizations that information quality matters. Your voice as a user, a citizen, and a consumer always has power. Don't let any of this fool you from that. Let me bring this home as a conclusion. Disinfo, misinfo, malinfo, three a distinct but equally dangerous threats to our information ecosystem and to our daily lives. The Philippines is particularly vulnerable, but Filipino journalists, fact checkers, educators, and citizens are fighting every single day, mind you. VERA Files, Rappler, ABS-CBN journalists, meteorologists like Ariel Rojas, who live streams corrections in the middle of typhoons to set records straight. The examples we studied today. Typhoon, disinformation that caused disaster fatigue, cancer food misinformation, gives false hope, ABS-CBN imposter sites that endangered patients. These are all shared one pattern. They all share one pattern. They target the most vulnerable moments: disaster, disease, desperation. Let that sink in. Fake news wins when we react without thinking. It loses when we pause, verify, and choose truth over clicks. Critical thinking, media literacy, is responsible sharing are not just academic skills that you have to apply because your teacher said so. They are acts of civic duty in the digital age. Remember, the truth is worth the extra 30 seconds it takes to verify. Stop, think, check, then share. Thank you for watching. Once again, my name is Kirk Luis Piras. This was a production. We are in a crisis of information, not because it's too little, but because it's too much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again on another episode. Goodbye.